Natalie, and today I have with me a very special guest and friend, Irene. Hi, Irene.
Hey, hi everyone!
Do you want to share a little bit about yourself with everyone?
Hello everybody. So my name is Irene. I am a Hong Konger currently working in Singapore, like in an international firm. But the interesting part for me, I would say, is more about what I do as a like in my pastime. So I'm also a YouTuber, having a channel like talking about how our Hong Kong lives, adapted to like in this new like Singapore environment to me.
That's super interesting, and actually, you really inspire me because I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but I never had the courage to do it. Which I will. I will do it. It will come soon. But I think this is why I wanted to ask you a few questions because it's so interesting to me that you decided to pursue this as a pastime, and not a lot of people do that. So I think the first thing that I've always wondered is what even inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
I won't say it's really something inspire me. Oh my, it's like if you remember like 2 years ago, okay, right now counting back is 2.5, is it 2.5 years ago? Like we have the circuit breaker.
Yes.
So like you record the circuit breaker happened in like March, April time in 2020 when COVID
Mm-hmm.
started. I moved to Singapore in January 2020, which means after 2 months I landed Singapore to work and then lockdown, circuit breaker. So I'm not allowed to go to office anymore. Then I have to full-time work from home. Then I suddenly have a lot of time. Like the time I can previously maybe I go hang out with my new colleagues, my friends, like after work, they're all gone. So what I can do
Mm-hmm.
is stay at home, work, stay at home. Then I suddenly feel like, hey, why I have so much free time? How about I do something new, something interesting? So that is one of the reason why or how I get like inspired to set up my YouTube channel is because I have a lot of time. I don't want to waste it. So I put them into like this new hobby, even if I'm just at home. So it's easy, right? You can just talk and then you edit and then hey,
I know you make it sound so easy, but I mean, coming from a content creation background, I know it's not actually easy to record, edit, do audio, go back, make your videos pretty, and do all of the thumbnails. So, was there anything that you found challenging? Like, was everything new to you? How did you overcome all of those things?
very challenging for me, like very difficult because I start from scratch, like really scratch. I don't have a like media background, none. I don't have any like pretty much art sense. Sorry, no. Like I must say I'm just an ordinary people, ordinary Hong Konger. Have a chance to
Mm-hmm.
move to Singapore to work right now. Like not right now. At that period of time, I feel everything is very curious. So I start to film myself talking about all the differences, interesting points that I found a Hong Konger newcomer coming to Singapore. Like what do I see? How do I feel? So that is my content. So from content perspective, I feel fine because it's like my everyday life. Even though I
Yes.
see the Cai Fan downstairs, I feel very interesting.
Everything is different, right? The
Yes,
whole world suddenly looks different to you.
that's correct. So the content perspective is still okay. I keep having ideas because I keep finding the small little differences like
Mm-hmm.
from the life, like being living in Singapore comparing to my like 20-ish years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
my entire 20-ish years when I was living in Hong Kong, they are very different. So content is okay, but when it comes to technical skills, it's really a challenge.
Yeah.
I pick up like video editing from scratch. I just use the MacBook iMovie as a start because that is the only free software I have.
I use
Then
that too.
yes, because that one is the easiest for basic for beginner. That's the best because it's just the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like make it very fancy because before you can get there, it already spend you like 10 hours. So I share it everybody like for the first ever video I put on like my YouTube, right? For that one, I think I film like for me talking to the camera. I think I spent like 2 hours more for that 10 minutes video for the filming because
Wow.
I feel like I cannot. Then I refilm again, then I forget what I want to say, then I suddenly logical, then I just feel so unnatural. Even today I watched that video back, I say, that's how I start, man. That's how I start.
Right. And now you're such a natural.
I mean, it develops like after the experience, I
Yeah.
must say. Yeah, and then of course the video editing part also like takes time to pick up, and
Mm-hmm.
I must say if you are willing to put in effort, like you will get there.
How long does it actually take you to edit a video? Like from start to finish?
For the first few video, I think it really can take up to 10-15 hours just to edit a 10 minutes video, because I'm trying to like put all the effects in place
Mm,
to make sure that things are all good, like flowing smooth, which is very difficult because
yeah.
I feel maybe I'm a little bit like perfectionist in the starting point, which is like quite difficult at the beginning, because I catch on every little second. I just make sure okay, every second is perfect. It's a bit like at the very beginning, if I don't have the skills, but I struggle to make it perfect like other YouTubers, or it seems like it to be like the TV episode. That was how I
Mm-hmm.
think in my head. But technically
Mm-hmm.
speaking, my skill is not there. The challenge at the very beginning, yeah, it can be up to 10-ish hours. But for now, I think it still takes time, but it could be if the longer video for the one that I have to like place different videos together, add more
Mm-hmm.
effects. Of course, those could be up to still 5-6 hours. Like the
Mm-hmm.
hours are in. But for the one, if I just sit here and talk, that one would be easier because the only thing I have to do is just to put them together and then to ensure the sounds balance, and then
Mm-hmm.
everything is good, whatever is in should be in, and add in a subtitle. So that kind of video could be like cost slightly less effort compared to those more fancy ones.
So how do you feel like, embarking on this whole YouTube journey? Do you think it can like change your perspective? Has it made you see things differently, experience life differently? Because I would think that you compared to other people who work the same job as you, like corporate job,
Mm.
like they don't do YouTube on the side. So do you feel any differences in that?
You have to make your priority right in your limited time, because
Mm,
everybody have 24 hours, and I have this like YouTube thing going on while others they may spend some time on other stuff. My key priority will always be my main job, because that's why I come here, right? Like
yeah.
um and I would think like currently at this moment of life, like my key priority will still be my job. I
Mm-hmm.
am not saying that maybe in 20 years time, 10 years time will be a full-time YouTuber. I don't know, I can say it now, but still
Mm-hmm.
at this moment of time I would prioritize my corporate work first, and then YouTube comes as a hobby, the fun way that how I present the life I experience here, the
Mm-hmm.
perspective I have here. So I feel if you ever be someone working a full-time job and want to start YouTube, like make your priority right. Yeah, because it just cannot, you only have 24 hours. You either you
Yeah.
just cut your sleep time, you just cut your other stuff to do YouTube. Yeah, so that is how you can manage your time. Like this is the first thing. And then second thing, how I look at things in, I feel like I am more open-minded to try more new things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I personally is an adventurous person, so I don't like reject or refuse to new experiences or the things that I'm unfamiliar with. I try to make my like try to stay on my promise to my audience that I will keep uploading video at least once a week. Every week I have to produce one video, like to make sure that it is on time, Saturday 9 a.m. every like.
Really? You time it?
I feel like this is how I develop my bonds or relationship with my audience, that
Yeah.
I be on time. Like every Saturday morning, you're eating a breakfast, then you hear my voice, you see my face. I think I started the Saturday 9 a.m. This routine is after maybe 2 months. I upload a
Ah.
video. Because in the very beginning, I don't know how to catch it. I sometimes upload maybe Sunday, sometimes maybe
Mm.
Saturday, sometimes maybe Wednesday, then I find also quite hard for me to manage because
Right.
each video takes too much time, right? Then
Understand.
I mean, ultimately, I make it this Saturday 9 a.m. Irene time. Like you eat
Wow.
breakfast, you see Irene, okay?
That's amazing. Saturday 9 a.m. every single week. I'm very impressed. Honestly, I'm so impressed. That's really amazing. I should do that for my podcast. I will do that for this
Yeah,
series.
make it regular. Make it regular
Yes.
so your audience remember you. Like what time? Maybe it's tea time, dinner time, or maybe before I go to bed, I hear Alisa's voice. So that makes a habit.
Yeah, that's true. That's so smart. Okay, I never thought of that. That's so smart. The other thing that I was also thinking is like, what consistently inspires you to keep creating content? Because, like you said, you got to get your priorities right. There's obviously other things that you're here for as well, right? Like, there's work, there's also friends, there's also social life, there's also time to like Zoom call your family, and then also creating content. So, how do you kind of find the motivation to keep creating every week despite all of these other responsibilities that you have?
Guess a key part is to do what you really like. Like you cannot force it. Maybe you can force it in the very beginning. Like maybe you tend to observe or you understand certain topic would definitely catch attention. then you might have a temptation to do that more because it could attract the audience. You would think that's not necessary or not 100%. There's no formula in that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you keep going into this direction and ending up with something that you don't really want to do, like that is not the thing that you really want to do, maybe I put it in this way, then it will become a chore. Like the chores that you have to do, just like, I mean, the thing that you probably you don't enjoy that much, then you will lose your motivation. So that is how I keep reminding myself. I like right now, because again it's not my source of income, like
Yeah.
main source of income. So that's why I can still do whatever I feel like, whatever I found interesting, whatever makes me happy. That's why it could still keep me going because I'm not forced to do it. Like for whatever video I have put up in my YouTube, it's really how I feel at that moment of time or in that situation, how I really find it. So that's what makes me unique, right? Like a Hong Kong lady coming to Singapore to work, to live for 2 years. How does she think about this environment? What are the experience that I have? So I would say that is the thing I enjoy. And that's what make me myself, and I cannot fake it. I mean, obviously you can fake it, but I don't think it can last long.
So you are basically inspired by the actual things that you're really adventurous and curious about, right? So it's stuff that you would already do on your own, and that's why you just create content based off of that.
Yeah, correct. Because I'm alive, right? I'm alive here. Then I'm every day experiencing the like Singapore way of doing things here, which definitely interests me because previously, when I was in Hong Kong, right, or like for whoever who are not in Singapore in your own country locations, some of the time you can just by reading, by watching how other people experience things to develop our understanding. So you might have some understanding on something or even misunderstanding on something. So when you're here finally to live the life yourself, then you find so much different if you like put in effort to really live a life here.
That's so true. And it's true also because whenever you don't live in a country for a long period of time, you only see what's on the surface, right? So you only see all the good stuff, all the stuff that, they are promoting because tourism. But you never really understand the lifestyle of the people here. So actually, what is something interesting you found about Singaporeans that's like so specific or like so significantly different from people in Hong Kong?
The family orientation, the how you see like as a whole, like you value your family. It seems to me like Singaporeans, like most of the Singaporeans that I see, my friends, my colleagues, my like relatives, this and that, like everybody really values their family time. So they do spend quality time with their family, like
Right.
after work, during weekends, and even when they have like new boyfriend, new girlfriends, that they might just introduce them into their family. Like after a short period of time, they get together. But I say in Hong Kong it's very different. It's not like that. I feel in Hong Kong they're more on an individual basis. Like weekends, everybody can go on doing something else. It is not necessary to get together, have that family time. Secondary school, like I still have this family time concept. Like on Sunday that we get together to eat a dinner. However, when I grow up, or like when my parents realize that I grow up, then everybody's will have their own thing because my parents will have their friends. I have my friends. My brother has their friends. Then which means everybody can just do their own things during weekend, and it is all fine. Like it's okay if you don't come back like for family demands. It's okay. But I feel like in Singapore it's like they put family like on top. Like if they have their friends, like this and that, then if there is a family dinner, that they will prioritize a family dinner.
That happens a lot, especially during occasions like Chinese New Year or Christmas or New Year's. It's always like you have to find time for your family and then also try and like find time for your friends and everything else.
I just go back to Hong Kong in December, like to finally see my family after 2 years of staying in Singapore. So I experienced the like I had the Christmas and the New Year Eve and the New Year Day in Hong Kong, right? This year, I think it's the first time out of my previous like maybe 15 or even 10 years time that I spend those festivals with my family on that day. Like for Christmas is for sure. Like previous, I don't recall, maybe when I was 14 or 15, then I spent my Christmas with my family. But ever since it's either friends or go on travel, or I mean basically just not like would not be a family dinner or a family lunch on Christmas Day. No.
Understand. Yeah, it becomes like everybody's an individual and you all have your own life and your own choices, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's so interesting to me. Okay, so the other thing that I found is that, okay, well, one, I love traveling and I love adventures, but I have never moved overseas to live and work. So that is a whole other level and a whole other step that I have not taken myself. And in my personal opinion, that requires a lot of tenacity. Do you feel like tenacity is a word that you resonate with as a person?
So I think the characteristic I have or how I choose to deal with things could like connect to tenacity, like this
Mm,
word, because it would mean like persistent or you just be resilient, right? Like even if you face difficulties, you face difficult situation, you like fail on something, but you still like try again or try until it succeeds, right? That's how I understand this word.
mhm.
And I feel like, yes, of course, if you ever have an experience in moving to a new country, new location to work, to live, it definitely like requires tenacity because you will fail multiple times on multiple occasions, even every day. Like,
Right,
if you imagine, I come from Hong Kong, right? My mother tongue is Cantonese,
right.
and then I don't know about Singlish, I don't know Duojiao, Hokkien, I don't know when I come to Singapore. How am I going to order my Thai fan? It's very
I
difficult. I
understand.
mean,
Yeah,
I can't,
there, this one, that one.
no, I mean, it's not just about Thai fan, right? It's also about how do you order local drinks in the kopitiam.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm.
one also requires like multiple try. Like at first, I cannot pronounce 小大 kopi. Oh,
Right,
got so right.
right.
Then the auntie will look at you like this. You quick up, miss. What you want? Black coffee. Then you might be, am I not into this society or this situation? Like what happened? So you feel a bit sad. Like why I
Mm,
try my best, but still don't understand. Ask me to be faster.
right.
But you when you're looking back, right? Lunchtime, peak hour, you're still there in front of the auntie saying, coffee. It's a bit difficult, yeah, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
But it you will fail on daily occasion. Like maybe you're like so good at your job, then you move here, then you can basically do your job very well, this and that. How you like try to really get yourself to be like adapted to the society, then new
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Then you will see a different way of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a different language that they use, and people sometimes don't understand, and sometimes you also don't understand, and it will result in some failure situation. It could be simply as the order drinks and order Thai fun. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, it could be larger, right? Like some other like misunderstanding, this and that. But you cannot give up, right? Because you already here. Like what? If you give up, you go back, man? No, right? So
Yes.
that's how you just have to look back like, okay, right now I must learn how to do this in that way to get my life easier. So I will try to learn how to just do it the way that like the people usually do like here. Like if you fail to try again, no, like everyone makes mistake, then
Yeah,
you
that's
learn more.
true. That's true. And it requires a lot of courage as well. I always feel like courage and tenacity have to go together. And I kind of understand what you mean as well because I spent quite a significant amount of time in Europe and in places where English wasn't the first language. So I totally understand what you mean by having to really adapt to the culture. I didn't stay as long as you. I wasn't there 2 years, right? But even just being there like 2 months,
Yeah,
you feel
really.
it. You feel it. Yeah. Like why don't I fit in? And then you just go, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do my best and I'm gonna make it work as best as I can. So thank you so much for sharing all of these stories and everything on the podcast. I'm so happy to be able
No,
to speak to you. And I
thanks.
just want everybody to know where they can find you. So let them know where they can find you on YouTube, on social media.
On the YouTube is my channel, like Irenerene HK. This is a channel about how like I myself as a Hong Konger, like come to Singapore since 2020 January. My life, like in Singapore, how do I experience, how I found, how I feel. Like you will find it interesting. There are about like
Mm-hmm.
food, houses, personal experience, comparison between Hong Kong and Singapore, and so much more. So you go here, you watch it, then you know. And I also have
Yay!
Instagram
So it's Irene
HK.
HK. Gotcha.
Yes.
Irene HK.
Good.
Google search it. I think you're the only name that's gonna come up. Thank you so much for being part of my podcast. And thank you everybody for listening. And we will see you again on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Yep, see you. Bye bye.